G'day, welcome back. It's my next video in the series on World Chess Championship blunders. It's probably the only day I'm going to do 2 videos in one day because I just wanted to wrap this series up and quickly go over these couple of last World Championship matches, which were pretty well known. I think we know the blunders, so it makes it not as much journey of discovery, which I've been doing with the earlier videos. Anyway, so we're now up to 2024, and it is Ding, the defending champion, although he's only been champion for about a year. The cycles seem to be compressed for some reason this time around. And he faces Gukesh from India. Spoiler, Gukesh won. And this is it's really disappointing when you think about this match from Ding's perspective anyway. We're going to look at 2 blunders by Ding. And so if Ding had not blundered, he may well have won this championship. Or anyway, it would have been considerably different. So it is probably equal to the Chigor and Bronstein matches where blunders really did have an impact on the outcome of the match. Okay, so let's go to the capture screen. And first off, we are going to look at the Wikipedia page, go to candidates tournament as usual. So 2024 candidates, here are your participants. Nepo, runner-up, gets a slot. I've taken it away this time, so Ding wasn't invited to the candidates, which we've just had. Carlsen withdrew. Bragg, Caruana, Abasov, Vidit, Gujathi, Hikaru, Gukesh, and Aruja. And I think one thing you can compare it with the previous candidates list, like there's Abasov, there's Vidit, a lot of weaker players in this one, and doesn't have number 1 ranked player, has number 2 and 3 ranked, and then sort of a smattering of other players, right? So it was kind of an odd candidates tournament. Caruana, Naka, I guess, were the favourites as they were this time around, and Gukesh definitely wasn't one of the favourites. Ranked 16, he was probably considered one of the more weaker players, but I mean, there's certainly parallels to Asindarov in terms of a up-and-coming young player, very highly and well prepped, leading the charge. So that's ultimately what happened. Gukesh won, but this was very, very tight. The rolling totals, you can see how tight it was at the end. That Gukesh did very well throughout the tournament, got to +4, and in the final round, Gukesh was playing Hikaru and had a draw. If Hikaru had won, he would have caught up. And Nepo and Barbie were playing, and the winner once again could qualify for a playoff against Gukesh. Barbie was totally winning. Nepo defended, and that game ended a draw. So I think this is a really sort of exciting tournament, this one, with 4 players in contention in the last round. So in the end, it's Gukesh. Championship match itself, it was in Singapore. That's quite a good location, and it was 14 games, and Gukesh won 6.5, 7.5 by winning the last game, and it was a blunder by Ding. And earlier on, Ding was ahead, but Gukesh caught up because Ding blundered. So that gives you a sort of the real picture of what was going on. Okay, so we don't need to go through this. There's that. You can see now on the capture screen, you have got the match totals. As I said, you've got this blunder by game 11 by Ding, having just taken the lead, and in game 14 by Ding once again. Game 11, you can see the rolling score there. You can see it's slight advantage to Gukesh, and then just a terrible blunder, and the game was over. Like basically on the next move. These ones where the player resigns after the next move, it really does tell you how bad they were. And we've got the position here, and there's one main move. I mean, there's a lot of pressure on the queen side there. All the rooks bearing on the b pawn, not just those ones, but you've also got the queen and the bishop coming in the diagonal. So kind of, you'd say 4 pieces potentially attacking the b pawn. And the best move and the obvious move here is we'll go through what should have been played. You do knight b4, you block, kind of just hold this good engine line. So now this is the key square now, which black can take, and there's going to be quite a nasty pin on the c file, but the reality is you can hold, and this is like this sort of a typical continuation. Go through it quickly just to get to the sort of position that is sort of viable at the end. I mean, basically, white wins back his pawn, and there's kind of play in the center, like sector center pawns versus the dangerous a pawn on the a file. But with opposite colored bishops, I mean, I know rooks are on, but that should be holdable, right? So let's go back to the position. So there's knight b4 we looked at, and what was played was queen c8. It was a terrible, terrible blunder. I mean, spend a few seconds looking at it and working out what the winning move is. It's actually 2 winning moves, but there's one move that just like wins on the spot, and Ding resigned. Okay, let's have a look. The move was Queen takes c6. What's going on here? Can't take back with the pawn. The rook drops and the queen's pinned to the king. Doesn't work. And this is basically it. That's actually given as the best line. Obviously, the other line to consider is taking back the queen. And now the b pawn is going to drop. Pin, so it can't be taken. It's just sort of, let's just continue a computer line here, no matter what we do. Bishop d2 is given. Rook takes b7. B takes b7. Rook takes b7. Okay, rook takes b7. There's nothing better. Knight takes b7. And you can see if you go all the way back, somebody has an extra knight. And the extra knight is there because this knight dropped off the board. Black got nothing for it. Terrible blunder by Ding. So that was game 11, and now we'll move along to game 14. Give me 1 second. Similar profile, isn't it? This looks exactly like the other previous game. And this is a game, he loses this game and Gugesh is world champion. So let's go to the position here. Anything draws. Rook a4 draws. Bishop g2 draws. Rook f1 draws. In fact, let me just use the engine. How many drawing moves are there? There's 7 drawing moves. Don't know why Ding decided to exchange rooks. Just a disaster. Let's go rook a4. See what happens with rook a4. Rook b1 check. Just no progress can be made. The king gets checked away. That's the sort of position. Look, okay, totally bad, terrible blunder. Takes it back. But this is the key. The bishop was just for that moment terribly trapped. Can't get away. Bishops are off. Take the opposition. Ding resigned here. Continuation might be king d3. Okay, you can't take because obviously if you take, then the king's just going to march in that way and win. So we move back, no push our pawn. And now we just need to, because this is on the 6th rank, these key squares there. If black gets onto those key squares, he'll be winning. And of course, he can get on those key squares. Push the pawn. Key square. No, I can't do anything. Get the pawn. Win. Even if the king was here, still be winning. What can I say about that? It was a terrible endgame blunder by Ding. He lost the world championship, and he lost the world championship because he had 2 blunders in this match. I mean, of course, there were swings and roundabouts during the match itself, but that was just a really sad sort of outcome for Ding. Obviously, he started playing again recently. Hopefully, he comes back, and we'll see what happens. Okay, cool. So there for now, I finished that, and then, as I said, I'm going to move on to looking at some of the earlier candidates matches because I think the outcomes and the games and the blunders in them can be as traumatic as the ones we've seen in this World Chess Championship match. Before I sign off, though, let's have a quick look at the tier list, which I've just updated to include all these blunders up to this one. So there we are, just switching over to the Excel capture screen. You can see the layout of the blunders, which 159 blunders or something now. And then we've got a nice set up here at the top. We've got 1 6-star one and then 8 of them now in this category. Got Ding's Rook f2, which lost in the World Championship, and Rook King d2 by Carlsen. That was up there mainly because it's a double blunder by him and Anand and so on. Nobody would complain about any of these. Now that I've done it, I might come up with a nice little top 10, although I'm going to reassess these ones just in the tier below. Some of them are pretty good too, to come up with a 10. Okay, so that's the end of the tour for now. Hope you enjoyed that, and thank you very much for watching.